Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. You're watching Advait, the fourth Umpire, and today we'll be going over the test match between India and West Indies. The second test match, of course, which happened in New Delhi, and it was a brilliant test match to watch overall, and I really enjoyed every single part of it. And it was really different to see, this India side. This is a new India side, of course. This is the first time they're playing in home conditions under the leadership of Shubman Gill, and this is a great test win series for him. And in England, it was a draw series, but that was definitely a great effort for him. And coming into coming back home, playing against West Indies, right, for his first home series against them, against any opposition at home, it was a brilliantly well done, executed series. And I feel like Shubman Gill really performed well and made sure that he was the captain throughout and through. And let's see how the match went. So of course, we spoke about a few days in the middle. We spoke about some of the conditions, some of the scenarios to why the players like Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shubman Gill, and why the West Indies collapsed in the middle. But talking about the overall match itself, I think went brilliant to begin with. Jaiswal getting the 175 and Shubman Gill getting the 129 in the first innings. India putting a commanding total of 518 for the loss of 5 wickets, and they were declaring at that point, which shows its brilliance there. Of course, the West Indies would have wished they could have gone further on. The follow-on itself was also there, but in the first innings, the 248 really wasn't that significant for them in that high standard level. But Alec Athanaze was the one who starred in that innings, but really not much to talk about, really not much to say. But with the follow-on innings, I think it was a statement they showed that we can also play. The first innings was just not who we are. It was definitely a collapse from our end, and John Campbell scored 115. And Shai Hope got 103 after many years, getting a century, I think overall or in a test match as well. I'm not really sure. And with Justin Greaves as well being their all-rounder, getting a 50 as well. We've seen that he can strike that well with the bat in the white ball format, and also he proved himself in the red ball format as well, which is just brilliant to see from the West Indies perspective. Of course, when it comes to India's bowling, Kuldeep Yadav getting the 5-wicket haul in the first half, the first innings, and also re-continuing his performance in the second innings as well. India did find a phase where it was a bit difficult to pick up the wickets they wanted. But overall, I felt like Kuldeep Yadav did perform. He was an outstanding performer. Alongside that, Mohammad Siraj was proving why he is the leading wicket taker for India this year. And overall, it's been a great performance by both the teams, especially India. India favors their home conditions a lot, and they really excel whenever they play in their home conditions. They've only lost one series in the last 10 odd years, which was against New Zealand last year, which was definitely a bummer for them in a lot of senses. But coming back and making sure they perform once again at home is just brilliant to see and brilliant to watch. The West Indies, of course, they haven't won a test match against India since 2002, so they're really craving for a win against them. And even knowing at this position as well, they're unable to win. The fact that they scored a 390 in their second innings after the follow-on was just something to watch out for. India did not have a huge total to chase, and knowing the conditions as well, it was really not that hard to chase a score of 200 odd plus. But at the end of the day, it's test cricket. Anything can happen. Wickets can go like a jiffy, and at the same time, it can be hard to even pick up a single wicket. So that factor was definitely there, playing on their minds. India in the second innings, not much to talk about because it was a low total to chase, and KL Rahul, Sai Sudarshan did both finish the job in the end. KL Rahul was not out of 58. Sai Sudarshan was out of 40 odd runs, but he did end up losing his wicket. But it was brilliant to watch. From the bowling perspective for West Indies, I think Jomal Warrican was outstanding. I think the way he was performing, I felt like he single-handedly led West Indies throughout the series, and if there was a bit more support from the other bowlers, it would have been really nice. The takeaway from India in this series is that India hasn't got all out even once. They batted for one innings in the first match and they declared. Even in the second match as well, they batted for a full innings, but they declared then. And then while chasing, they only lost 3 wickets, which is just brilliant to see. And you can see how solid the batting order for India is, and for the upcoming matches as well. They have to play New Zealand soon, and they have other matches coming forward as well, which is definitely a brilliant watch for them. And it brings up a sense of confidence for them going forward, because once they did draw the series against England, which was brilliant to watch, and now they won at home 2-0 against West Indies, regaining their form that we are the kings of our home ground. And that was just amazing to watch out, because India really needed a comeback post Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma retiring, post the Border Gavaskar Trophy. There was a lot to watch out for this Indian team, and under Shubman Gill's captaincy, under Gautam Gambhir's coaching, it was a lot to watch out for. And India did do a really good job in that sense. The West Indies, on the other hand, they haven't had the highest and the greatest success in terms of Test cricket. Even in the last three WTC cycles, they weren't really positioned highly, or they weren't even in contention at a point for like, okay, making the World Test Championship final, which is definitely heartbreaking for them. Knowing what kind of a mammoth side they were back in the 1970s, 1980s. Seeing the same West Indies side today not performing that well is definitely heartbreaking. But also, there's been a lot worse for them in the last 10 years. They didn't qualify for the Cricket World Cup in 2023. They couldn't make it to the next stage in 2022 T20 World Cup. So a lot of heartbreaks for them. But sooner or later, I think they can look at these small performers like Jomal Warwick and Justin Greaves, even John Campbell or Shai Hope to help them move forward. What can India do for the next series? They're playing New Zealand next, of course, and there's definitely a lot on stake. They did lose against New Zealand last year, and that will definitely be on their mind. That'll be playing on the back of their minds. And this time, Shubman Gill is the captain. But at the same time, I don't think Shubman Gill is the same player he was against them last year. I feel like he's a more renowned, revamped player comparatively as well. And I personally feel that he'll do a really good job. He'll continue to do the same job. The team is also gonna perform the way they were performing throughout and out. So that's really not something to worry about. At the end of the day, besides that, nothing else is there to particularly say. I think India is doing a really great job, and that's it for this match and the series. It was a great series overall. My favorite performer, obviously, Jadeja. I think his contribution with the bat in the first match and with the ball during both the matches was definitely a spectacular watch. You don't see a lot of players, especially at that age, performing in the level he's performing. Even if you look at overall players, you take out the age factor. The way Ravindra Jadeja has performed throughout the whole series and throughout the whole campaign, it's just been great and brilliant to watch. So thank you all for watching this video. Hope you all like and subscribe. And we had a great series, and I can't just wait for the next one. Next we'll have India versus Australia, the white ball series, and I'll see you all during then. And I'll see you all in the next one.